Good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Megan Alderson. I'm so excited to have you join us this afternoon for our Niebuhr Service to Society Scholarship Competition webinar, everything you need to know. So today we'll go through a deep dive about all things scholarship competition related in terms of the rounds for the competition, everything you need to know. You will get to hear from one of our past winners, Lucia, who will share a few words of advice, and then we will wrap up being able to go through and open it up to Q&A. Hopefully, we will answer all your questions throughout the presentation, but this is a great way at the end. We'll give you some time to ask us any other specific questions that you might have related to the scholarship competition. Again, my name is Megan Alderson. I'm the Director of Admission Events. I am excited to plan all things admission events for you all in terms of our scholarship competitions. If you've attended any of our open house sessions, I work on coordinating all of those events. So hopefully we've seen you on campus for a on-campus event too. And I am a proud alumni of Elmhurst University. I was a psychology major and I had a minor in educational studies. So I loved my time being an Elmhurst student, and even more so, love working with students as they navigate the college search. So I will now turn it over to Lily, who is another member of our scholarship competition team.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lillian, or Lily Solis. I am also an alumni of the institution as well. I majored in sociology with 2 minors in Spanish and social work. Yeah, so I oversee, the first year admission counselor team. So I'm sure I've had some of my students here on this webinar. So yeah, we will just be talking a little bit about, what Niebuhr is. But yeah, next is Lauren, who's our next guest here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Lehman, and I am the Admission Events and Visit Specialist here at Elmhurst. So I also work with Megan on all of the admission events. I am on the Scholarship Committee team this year, which is very, very exciting. So I look forward to helping you all throughout this process today. We are now going to turn it over to Lily for you guys to learn a little bit more.
All right. So our application process here at the university, I'm sure a majority of you are either admitted already, but if you are not and you're still interested in learning how to, apply to Elmhurst, we have 2 options. So we have the traditional application. So as you can see in this diagram, so we will require your transcript and an SAT or ACT score. So this is the traditional application. And then of course, this is how you will then receive, your merit-based scholarships and apply to this Niebuhr scholarship competition. The second way is a test optional application. So again, we do require your high school transcript, but then you can submit an essay in replacement of your SAT or ACT test scores. So again, this is another way for you to apply and then participate in our scholarships, receive merit-based scholarships, and all that jazz. So please know that you can either apply at through the Elmhurst University website or the Common App. And this competition will strictly be for our first year admitted students. So yeah, if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to either Megan, Lauren, or myself with any questions or concerns. And then one thing I wanted to add, sorry, if you haven't applied just yet to the FAFSA, it is now open, and also the alternative app. So make sure to do that. If you have any questions, I would encourage you to either reach out to either one of us or your assigned counselor and add Elmhurst University so our student financial services can create a financial aid package for you. All right. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what, the Niebuhr Service Society competition is all about. So this is my second year now helping out with the Niebuhr Service Society competition. So essentially it is the Niebuhr legacy. So we have two well-known brothers here at the university who are very passionate about service, and their legacy is very strong here at the university. So, this is ultimately what the competition is all about. So we really want to know what you as students do in your community, or in high school, and how you continue to do service and leave that footprint here at the university. So again, we will be breaking down a little bit about what is required and what's expected of you. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either one of us.
All right, so you're probably wondering, about the application process. It is a two-part process. So the first part is round one. This portion is due in less than 2 weeks, but you definitely still have plenty of time to plan, record, and submit your video. This portion is due on February 9th, 2024. And all that we ask is that you create a 3-minute or less video with yourself in it while answering the prompt of how have you contributed to a positive change within your community. So in this video, you should be showcasing, your personality. You can be creative. You can add you actively doing that acts of service, or you can also just sit down and kind of sit and talk about what you have done to create a positive change. Throughout this, you should kind of be showing us your strengths and why you should be given this scholarship opportunity. One thing that we do ask is that you create a video onto YouTube and you upload it through there as an unlisted video. That way, while we are going through the participants, we are able to get the direct link and no one else will be able to view it. And if you have any questions about how to upload an unlisted video, I'm going to include a couple of links here in the chat for you. And that first link there is a how-to video. So the second link is a web page, and that is for the scholarship competition itself. It shows us kind of more about the process, past winners, past videos, what we are looking for, and also why the scholarship competition is important. And then third, that third link there is the actual link for the application. So in here is where you will answer all of your personal questions, such as your name, what school you're attending, and also, the ways you have helped through this service involvement. And then through there is where you will also include that link to your YouTube video. And then finally, we also ask that you upload a photo of yourself because we do display a slideshow of all of our participants at our awards ceremony. So that's a little bit about the round one, but now we're going to move over to round two. All right, so round two is happening in March, and you have to be invited to this portion of the process. So this portion is on Saturday, March 9th, 2024, and it is in person. It will begin around 8:30 a.m. and end around 11 a.m. So that's around 3 hours. And here is where we will invite the students, and their families are more than welcome to attend as well. They will get to see and walk around our beautiful campus. You will get a glimpse inside of our chapel because that is where the event will be held. And then also participate in a multitude of activities throughout the 3 hours you are here on campus. But most importantly, participate in a small group service project with other students that are, going on this process with you. And then not only that, but you also get to hear from a featured speaker who is a current Elmhurst student. And they will kind of talk about, their competition when they were a senior and how it has helped them in their higher education journey here at Elmhurst. And then finally, round two does conclude with an award ceremony hosted by the Elmhurst University President, Troy D. Van Aken. So you will leave round two knowing who won first place and who won second place. For the students that did not receive the first or second place award, you will automatically receive a $1,000 scholarship for attending that in-person round two process, which is really, really awesome. But overall, don't forget that you will also get to meet future Blue Jay students before you come here in the fall and start your journey here, and are able to connect with them pretty early on in this process. So that's a little bit more about round two. And now I'm going to pass it over to Megan so she can go through a little bit more of the scholarship in depth.
Great. Thanks so much, Lauren. So once you, as students, have submitted your round one video, and then you'll automatically, as soon as you get that video turned in, you'll automatically get your invite for round two. So be sure to RSVP for that. We'll go through and continue to send you communication and details for the day. So stay tuned, as always, for your email. So once our students conclude their second round group project, essentially during that award ceremony, you'll get to hear our awards that will be given out. One student will receive a first place full 4-year tuition scholarship. So for each year, they'll get full tuition. And then one student will be eligible for second place for a $10,000 annual stipend. So that's good for their 4 years while they're an Elmhurst student. And then all students that participate in round one and round two, you've got to do both of them, you'll receive a $1,000 annual scholarship. So that is a total of $4,000 throughout your time on campus. So it's definitely a great way to earn some additional scholarship money. So that's just a little bit about what's on the line for getting that video in and also joining us in person for the round two component. And then I wanted to share a few other just kind of reminders to include. So again, as Lily mentioned, all of our students have to be admitted for this. We do have 2 scholarship competitions, and each student can only apply for one of them. So our students cannot apply for both the Niebuhr Service to Society Scholarship Competition and the American Dream Scholarship Competition. You must choose one of them. Our American Dream Scholarship Competition is for first-generation college students. So there is a distinction between those 2 scholarship competition. And the American Dream competition is just a little bit later. So students that are eligible for that will start getting some communication from us on that. And again, when you're thinking about kind of getting your creative juices flowing about creating your video, brainstorm utilizing even social media, get creative. This is really a time for you to be able to share your story. We all sit together and watch all of our student videos together, and it's one of my favorite times during the year, and our counselors can attest to that as well. We love hearing about your stories and everything that you've accomplished thus far. So please, take some time after today to jot down your story and be able to tell us that story. So definitely encourage you all to get your video in for us and then join us in person for that additional scholarship money. Now I am really excited to introduce you to one of our current students and past Niebuhr winners, Lucia, and I will turn it over to her to have her share a little bit about kind of her process in creating her own video and some words of advice. So Lucia, take it away.
Hi everyone. Okay, my name is Lucia. I am a junior here at Elmhurst. I am majoring in Econ and Finance, and I was the second place recipient for the 2021 Niebuhr Service to Society Scholarship. Fun fact, this picture in the PowerPoint, that was the day I got it. I was so thrilled. So that's why we use that picture. And just a little bit of advice. Okay, so I know for me at least the hardest part was like where to start. I think something that helped me was kind of like reflect on everything I've done in terms of social service. I remember I went through my NHS application because in my NHS application and in everyone's, they ask you what kind of service you've done. That was super helpful for me. It helped me kind of like compile and revisit everything I had done. And then from there, I kind of just pen and paper and wrote down all the like events or things that I wanted to highlight. And I kind of created like, like a timeline. And then from there, I was like, okay, we can start recording this video. So I think the most important part of Niebuhr is, like Megan said, you are telling a story. You want to tell us why you feel passionate about this. What did you do? Um, and I think the biggest tip that I have for that is showing, not telling. So even though you can sit at home and record a video, um, be sure to include pictures, maybe like superimpose them while you're talking about things. Or if you're actually going to go and record a video, go show and then do a voiceover. But people are way more entertained when you are showing them what you did as opposed to telling them what you did. So definitely leverage pictures, videos, all those things. And other than that, just be yourself. The day that you come in for round two, just be your most authentic self, because that's truly what's gonna make you stand out in the group part component. So yes, please don't hesitate to ask me questions when they open the panel for questions. I am here to tell you about my experience, and yeah, good luck, guys.
Right. Thank you, Lucia. That's super helpful. Thanks for all the tips and tricks for applying. So now, as we kind of went through each stage, round one and round two, I did want to add one additional note, just as sometimes in life something comes up or you already have something pre-planned on that March 9th date. I do recommend, if anybody needs kind of additional information on alternative options for round two, please reach out to me. I'll add my email into the chat in just a moment, just because it's really helpful to be involved in this. So we can definitely talk through if there's any kind of specific accommodations that you might need for that specific day. So I will add my email into the chat just so you have it if you do need that at any point. Okay, perfect. So now that we've gone through the round one and round two, heard words of advice, we'll now open it up to questions. If anyone has any specific questions, feel free to utilize the chat. We'll answer them. And also, if you need, you can definitely unmute and ask us individually. We really want to make sure that everyone's questions get answered before anyone departs today. We'll give everybody a moment if they have any specific questions. Okay, perfect. Great, Margot. Thank you for your question. So with that, with you being out of state, so definitely shoot me an email in terms of a virtual accommodation for the scholarship competition. So please use my email that I added into the chat to reach out to me in terms of that, which is great. Okay, perfect. Thanks for all the questions coming in. Okay, Hope, great question. You asked if there are any advantages of doing a sit-down video or a more interactive video. Overall, when we're kind of reviewing to see who would qualify for the top scholarship, we are reviewing for creative aspects of video, making sure that you're answering the specific question. So as we're going through and reviewing all of the videos, we do look for a creative side, but we also really look for that storytelling side. So some students can really articulate their story really well, sharing it just on the screen themselves, where for some students it's easier for them to do that in a more interactive way. So definitely be creative with showcasing your story, because that's one of the biggest components that we do look for when we are reviewing it. Okay, perfect. And then Emily had a specific question. Is everybody that participates in the first portion invited to the second portion? Yes, Emily, great question. Everyone that applies for round 2 will automatically receive instantaneously right after they submit for round 1. You'll be essentially required to apply for round 2 and RSVP for that. So you will be automatically invited. So great question there. And perfect. Lucy, thanks for adding in your video to get everyone inspired a little bit. Okay, and then we did have one other question asking about kind of additional scholarships. So the one that I did mention before is our American Dream Scholarship Competition. So it's ultimately the identical format to the Niebuhr Scholarship Competition. It is just for our first generation college students. So if neither of your parents obtained a bachelor's degree, you would be eligible to apply for the American Dream Scholarship Competition. So we will start sending out more information very soon on that scholarship competition for students that are eligible for that. And then outside of those scholarships, I do recommend reaching out to your individual admission counselor because those are really great opportunities to connect on other scholarships that might be available to you based on your major of interest potentially. There might be some through your specific high school that you can apply for. So definitely encourage you to have a conversation with your admission counselor to talk through some of those additional scholarship options as well. Okay. And then we got another question that came in about how many applications do you receive per year? That is a great question. Last year was our highest applicants that we had for Niebuhr, and we had just about 200 student applicants. So it definitely was a big number. So it was a great amount of videos that we got to review and a great time on campus where students got to connect. So definitely it's been kind of above that 150 student range that they apply since we've started it. Okay, great. And then Hope, awesome questions. Thanks for adding these in the chat. Is this a scholarship you can reapply for every year? Great question. Once you apply and do round 1 and round 2, if you receive the $1,000 scholarship, it is renewable every year. So you will see that apply to your financial aid award each academic year that you're a student on campus. So you'll see it all throughout your time on campus. Same with the first and second place award. You'll see that if you do receive that, you'll see that each academic year apply to that. And that's another note why it's really important if you are eligible and planning to file the FAFSA, do encourage you to get that completed, because then once we receive that information, then we'll add on this scholarship on top of any financial aid award that you might be eligible for too. So it's really important to get some of those steps done as well as completing this scholarship competition application. Okay, perfect. Thank you all so much for your questions. Really appreciate it. Okay, perfect. And then we got one more that came in. To apply for this scholarship, do you have to be an active member in your community / regularly volunteering? In terms of kind of service and giving back to your community, really share your story based on the prompt about sharing kind of your positive contributions. It could be working with whether you're supporting a family member with working on homework. It can be in many different capacities. Yes, a good portion of our students do share about their volunteer experience, but it could be through a outside organization. It could be through your high school. It could be in your own home if you're making a positive contribution there. It's really kind of a full host of making a positive change within your community. So really kind of take some time to think through what you've been able to make for that positive change, and then kind of jot those down and then head into creating that video component. We've seen a lot of different varieties of students coming from different organizations, whether it be an after school program too. So it runs the full host of different opportunities that you can share about for this. Okay, great. Now we're winding down with questions. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, just a few kind of final reminders as we do close out our webinar. You have just about a week and a half to get that video in, to get that to us by February 9th. Please, I encourage you to continue to monitor your email, just as we'll send out reminders and updates in terms of that. Also, I recommend you follow us on Instagram. That's a great way to stay in touch with us as we're posting. We posted about our great webinar that we just had, and also about different happenings that are coming up on campus. So I really encourage you to also follow us on some of our social media platforms. It's a great way, in addition to email, to stay up to date on all things Elmhurst and sharing a little bit about what it is to be an Elmhurst student. Yesterday, we had a takeover from one of our current students, so there's a lot of exciting social media content that you can follow. And Lily, awesome. Thank you so much. Just added our handle in there. So definitely encourage you to follow us on social media to stay up to date in addition to those emails. All right. Again, thank you so much. And please reach out to us with any additional questions. You all have my email from the chat. So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And we are so excited to see and watch your video soon. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.